Hi there, my name is Edril,
And my name is Yen Ping.
and this is the Teo-logy podcast. So today we're going to do something fun, but not necessarily something that I think everyone will respond to.
Yeah, it's a silly episode. And usually we try to alternate between having a serious topic and a fun topic. But in the past few ones, it has been a chain of serious ones, I think, because we were really passionate about the topics and we wanted to get those out. So for a change, we're changing it back to a fun episode.
And silly doesn't mean not meaningful. So we will share our personal insights as to what is this silly thing. And I know many are still waiting for that discipleship survey results. We'll hold on to that still. We're still in data collection phase. Yeah. So Yan Ping, why not you start us off with what we plan to do and why?
So we're gonna share our top 5 videos that we like to watch again and again. Of course, it might not be like, watch every single day, but it would be like an old classic video. And you'll come to a point where you're like, it's that time of the year again. Let me go back and like watch this thing.
Yeah. And how do you know is the kind of videos that people will watch again and again is when you look at the comment section, you see who here is in 2025 and still watching it. And you see all the people liking it and say, me, I'm right here. And so what we're going to unpack is why we choose to watch it again and again and what we appreciate about it. Yeah, there are plenty of videos, but we only have a few that we're going to share with you.
Yeah. But maybe for starters, just to share that they're not particularly meaningful videos. They're more fun, light-hearted ones. And I think the reason why, you do tend to go back to these videos, number one, of course, is a bit of nostalgia. Number two, of course, execution was great for whatever the reason was, right? But also, so today I actually had a conversation with a colleague about this thing called purpose fatigue.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like when you are doing very purposeful things, it can come to a point that you are tired of doing purposeful things and therefore you want to like switch over and do something lame or like some brainless thing, right? So I would classify these videos as like, I don't need to use my brain juice to watch them, but I can get some comfort from it.
So purpose fatigue is like a means to regulate yourself after a long day. Is that correct?
It's not a means, it's just a phenomena that if you do something purposeful for too long a period of time, you will get the fatigue.
Like how you need to watch mindless Chinese dramas.
Yeah, after like a super meaningful day, right?
I don't have a purpose fatigue, right?
You probably do. You just haven't found a way to regulate it yet.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'm quite sure you do. You just haven't found a way to regulate it probably yet.
Right.
Oh, you do play computer games, but you delete from time to time.
Yeah, but I'm in season we are not playing anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into it, alright?
Yeah.
We have top 5 videos. We'll begin from 5, and then we'll work our way to our number 1 pick and why is our number 1 pick.
Sure.
Yeah.
And of course, comment below if you have watched those videos before or at least have heard of them, and if you have other videos to recommend.
Recommend not to us, but recommend and share with at least those who watch this video what you always fall back on. Yeah, year after year. Yeah. So first video.
It's a very short clip of an impressionism by this actor called Tom Hiddleston, and he was actually imitating the talk show host called Graham Norton. So if you have ever watched Graham Norton shows, talk show guy is called Graham Norton, and he does have a certain trait, but we've never seen anyone imitate him, so it never really occurred to us until Tom Hiddleston did it.
Yeah, and context on Tom Hiddleston, aka Loki from Avengers, the Marvel's Avengers, is that he is someone who loves to do impressions of people, and he's known for this few. And so he was geeking out on trying to do Graham Norton. Like he said, I need a card, right? And he goes like, welcome back.
Let's just play the clip.
Card. Okay. You can have an old card.
No, don't worry.
You can have an old card. So, welcome back. You've never been on the show.
And I like how there was one scene Robert De Niro was there also, and he did this whole, I think, The Godfather, right, the show. Yeah, and he was like, so we're like two regular fellas.
So, we're sitting here like a couple of regular fellas. I mean, you do what you do, I do what I gotta do.
You know, and then he did Robert De Niro, and instantly everyone laughed because it looked like him. Basically, to do an impression of Robert De Niro, you flap your nose and you do your mouth down.
Yeah.
So what if I do get boxed in?
What if you do got me boxed in? I'm not gonna put you down.
And I gotta put you down. Yeah.
And you can clearly see that here's another case in person who likes doing impressions, right?
Oh yeah, I enjoy doing impressions. Am I right to say that okay, the owner of this house one day I was doing impressions in front of him, and then he was like, okay, now you do this person, and now you do that person. Yeah, and it's out of my habit, right, that I do impressions. So now let's briefly share what we appreciate about this video.
Yeah. For starters, just realizing that Tom Hiddleston really treats acting as an art. So, like, for example, that clip that he imitated Robert De Niro, right? You can clearly tell he has watched that movie 1,000 times and he's like fanboying over it because he appreciates the art of like the film, the acting, and that's why he tries to impersonate because he really wants to understand it. But second was just like, you can tell how close he was to reality just by the reaction of the people, right? So when he did the Graham Norton one, I think it was Anne Hathaway, she just broke out laughing. And you didn't need to say like, yeah, it's super like
Just
whatever.
laugh.
That laugh told you how real it was.
Yeah, and I think for me, what I appreciate is, I naturally do impressions of people, and I always told myself if I wasn't doing full time ministry, I might be a stand-up comedian, right?
Yeah.
So that's something. So in that sense, I related to Tom Hiddleston in that sense. Yeah, but I never took the chance to refine the art. Yeah. Okay, now going to number 4. The 4th video is Tom Holland.
Another Tom.
Yeah, and Zendaya lip sync battle.
Yeah. But in
Yeah.
particular, the Tom Holland part.
Correct. Specifically, and you can see it all in Zendaya's face how Tom Holland really stole the show.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Her face was like, this is incredulous.
So the whole idea is there's this show where you have a lip sync battle between two actors and actresses, between two people, and then they will do a dance show off to show whether they are able to lip sync and express the best form of showmanship within that show. And Tom Holland did this I'm singing in the rain doing a very oldie song, and then all of a sudden he disappears in 10 seconds, and then he comes out wearing lipstick and these tight clothes, and then sing Rihanna under my umbrella, and it was just so just watch this short clip. Yeah.
In the rain.
Okay, so we watched the short clip, right? But we cannot make it any longer because, copyright. Yeah, but you go first. What do you appreciate about the video?
Execution, man. I mean, everything like... I remember watching a comment by Zendaya about that show, and she was like, it was just so over the top. There was rain coming down. And then there was fireworks. So that was that, right? But then also his dancing, his moves were like super
Acrobatic.
yeah, acrobatic, and you could tell that he had trained for years in like dance, which of course led to him being able to do all the Spider-Man stuff, right? So it's like all those years of work put into that one that one moment.
Yeah, I think what I appreciate about it is he's so bold. Like it didn't affect his manliness one bit. You know,
Yeah.
he was just like, I'm enjoying, I'm a showman, I'm going to show you, I'm just going to dance it all out. And like, we tend to fall back at the video once in a while, we rewatch it just to see how flashy, how like the execution was just so like,
Sometimes you're just like,
you thought about doing this?
yeah,
You
like
know?
he was doing flips on a wet stage, right?
Correct.
So he could have easily slipped and everything.
And then the final flip was instead of the front back, he did a back flip and landed flat on his whole body.
Yeah. That kind of looked painful.
I think it did. But I think all for the show, understood lah.
Yeah.
So that's number 4.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to number 3?
Sure. Number 3
Is the one that I watch, I think, the most often.
So I'm not as passionate about it. But yeah, I do agree it's funny. And what is it?
Yeah, it's Nicole Kidman sharing to Jimmy Fallon that they were on a date when Jimmy Fallon didn't realize years ago. Yeah. So if you see this clip, it's about Nicole finally going on the Jimmy Fallon talk show. And then instead of talking about the movie Paddington, they finally talked about that one moment they met at his apartment. And it was hilarious.
Me tell my version of the story?
Yeah, you tell your version.
So what was hilarious for you about that video?
Well, these kind of things are not planned, right? And that's quite rare in the showbiz where everything is like scripted, planned. You could clearly see on Jimmy Fallon's face that he did not see it coming.
Wait, what?
Yes!
What are you talking about?
No, especially when she's like, when Nicole Kidman says, I just remembered I liked you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was single. And that moment that I liked you face comes, he's like, he had the scene I'm going to show you on the camera that looked like he just like,
Remember, I liked you, and he was like, not now. I'm married now. But he was like, oh, well, you can meet. I mean, I don't.
what? Yeah. Then from then on, he's like, what? What? That's number 1. Yeah. Any particular parts that you particularly like? So that starting point was my favorite. I have 1 or 2 more.
I appreciate he was obviously very red and,
You're red.
I really am. I'm in shock.
and like, all flustered. But I appreciated his relatively quick comeback. So he managed to like sort of get back on track, and then he was like,
Yeah.
I'm not always on tour. I'm always at home. Hanging out.
He's always Keith Urban, Nicole Kidman's husband is always on tour. Yeah. So it's like trying to say you missed the boat, girl, kind of thing. Mine was 2 more points is where she really exposed him and said, I remember you put on a video game on and he was.
I thought
It
this
was
was a
like
movie.
a hang. It was meant to just, I don't know. And then you put a video game on or something. And I'm like, this is so bad.
Oh, so embarrassed. Like, please, no, I'm going to destroy my career. Just stop talking, please. And that was so, I think it was, you cannot make this up. I think that's what I appreciated about it. It was so raw, so rich. And one more was when, after that, the funny part is none of them could
look at each other in the
properly,
eye
yeah.
and keep a straight conversation.
We can't even have a conversation.
You're feeling a little something. Yeah.
there was this minor flirting because Nicole was like saying, I can't talk because you make me laugh.
I can't even talk.
I mean, you
to
can't even
now.
tell you're
This
like
is
stuttering and
hopeless.
stuff. Yeah, you're so nervous.
Only because you make me laugh now.
Make you laugh, yeah.
Now,
I always make you laugh.
And then he was like, yeah, make you laugh. Like, I'm a good guy kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But on a side note, the other part that I do appreciate about that scene or even Jimmy Fallon is that you didn't feel a very like, a lot of talk shows have sexual innuendos. Like I will often feel like the women on the talk shows are not treated right.
Yeah.
But even in this kind of like accidental flirtatious moment, right, it did feel very harmless. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So personally for us, we feel like Jimmy Fallon is one of those. I'm not saying he's perfect, right? But as a whole streak of the talk shows that all the talk shows do, from late night shows with, I forgot all the names suddenly, he tends to learn how to treat his guests well. And so that's number 3.
Yep.
Okay, number 2, I leave that to you to share.
That's my favorite. So we have mentioned Culinary Wars once, but one clip from Culinary Wars that I really love is so Culinary Wars is a reality cooking show, right? Competition, and they have different challenges throughout the episode. So one challenge was about cooking from a convenience store. So you can only buy any ingredient you can find in a convenience store.
살 게 없어도 그냥 편의점 돌아다니고 하는 게 약간 취미여서 여기는 내 나와버리고 무조건 내가 그냥 1등 할 거니까 이 미션으로 날 이길 수
And you have to make a dish out of it. So everyone was making like from the Maggi Mee kind of stuff, basically instant things that you find in the convenience store. But the guy who won and eventually won the whole show made a dessert. Tiramisu dessert. Yeah. And the fun part for me, if we're going into fun parts already.
No, just talk about it, yeah.
The fun part for me was, so usually they're being judged by like two very, very critical, very critiquing kind of people.
Yeah. One is a 3-star Michelin chef, two years in a row, Chef An, and the other one I forgot his name. Sorry.
Park, I think. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. And the Chef An, he took one scoop.
Wow.
And then he looked to his friend and he said,
편의점 재료가 좋네.
they do have good ingredients in the convenience store.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
told you like how well done that dessert, that tiramisu was.
And they took like multiple scoops again and again because it was just so good.
Which is not common because they are like taste testers, right? So they just take one and then they're done.
Yeah. To save the belly of stomachs, and all the other contestants were like, wow.
Yeah. So that is one clip that I watch like on a tired day when I'm done with like 3 or 4 schools in a day, have too many meaningful conversations. I will go and like watch that.
And it was just last year, right? The
Yeah.
whole show came out. Yeah, so even then, right? So I think that scene will be replayed again and again and again, and see how long that lasts. Yeah. Now, the number 1. Shall we move? Yeah. So number 1 is more on Netflix rather than on YouTube. YouTube, you get smaller snippets, and we struggle to find these snippets.
Yeah, and you understand why. So you
It's
gotta
so good,
pay
right?
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very sure they fought very hard to make it like not on the internet that easily.
Yeah, and we before we cancelled our Netflix subscription, we did watch that.
We managed to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Trevor Noah. Yeah. So before we explain the scene, maybe you share a bit of why you like Trevor Noah.
He's just a very humanity observer, if
Yes.
that's a way of putting it.
He is if Simon Sinek was a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
How's
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Simon Sinek is another preacher of humanities.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's also another impressionist.
Yes.
He does good impressions of people.
Very good.
Yeah. More like accents lah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, he said that the way that he imitates accents is
He follows the person of that.
like
cut.
he thinks of a person that he actually knows who speaks in that accent, and he just imitates that person. So it's not necessarily the accent, but it's that person.
Yeah. This is a starting point. So why not you share what about that clip that amazed us that we keep on watching?
So he was talking about the top 5 things that white people like. White, like ang mo. So there were things like
First one is swimming.
swimming, museums,
Being flabbergasted.
being flabbergasted, being white. That was number 2.
Yeah.
And then so because of all this, there's like a huge build up already, right? You're like, really? Oh, okay, I see your point kind of thing. So everyone's like, what is the number 1, right?
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm just saying this is my personal preference. You don't have to agree. But I really, really think the number one thing that white people love is this song called
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, huh? But they're also like, oh, great song.
Yeah. The execution though.
Yeah.
That's
I
when.
think that's where we just play it.
Correct. Yeah, we played.
There is one thing that white people love more than anything on this planet. Sweet Caroline. I don't care where it is. I've been on every continent, in many countries. When that song plays, you see white people's eyes light up like sleeper agents who've just been activated. It always seems like it's not going to happen, but it's always the same. It's always the same. It's always just like, Sweet Caroline. See, I didn't tell you to join in.
See, I didn't tell you to come in. I
I
didn't
didn't ask you to sing it.
Yeah, I didn't say 3, 2, 1 and all together. You all just like showed your whiteness. I am white, 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 white. And then he said, and then this is how he defended it. He's like, you said, Trevor, that's wrong. We don't always do that,
No, like we like it, but that's not like the number one thing.
Yeah, and he says, if it's not the number one thing, why didn't you help me sing the national anthem just now? And they were like, my job. And then he ended the show, and I thought that was really good execution. Yeah. And so we appreciate this kind of. I appreciate Trevor for how. I think every comedian does this, but I think he does it particularly intentionally, where he talks about real life issues.
Because this is about racism.
Correct.
Right?
Speaks the truth about it, able to laugh with it, and able to encourage those on where he takes ownership and where he invites others to take ownership of the issue or the privilege, like for a better word, being in America and all that. That's good. I think that's a really skillful thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the note of like being very, very observant about humanity, right? Like you have to have observed how many times of Sweet Caroline in a bar, in a stadium or whatever, to like realize that there is this pattern going on when white people sing along to it. And it's true. I have been in an event where it was like predominantly Malay. And the song came on. Nobody sang except for like 1, 2 people who went to like an English school.
Right.
So I really felt it. Yeah,
Right. So even in Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And point is, if someone wants to make the research, in Malays, among Chinese, among Indians, and among the orang asli, there is certain patterns that we will respond to immediately. The one thing, okay, this is just to like diverge a little bit, right? One thing, there was one moment where we were walking in the park and that we said, oh, that's so Chinese of us. I think we mentioned this before, where we saw a bunch of people just feeding the ikan kelis, right, at this pond. It was so huge. And the first thought both of us thought was, how many people can the fish feed us? Feed.
How many mouths
can it feed? And like, these people are feeding the fishes, and we are thinking of how big it is and how much it can
how
feed.
the fish can feed us.
Yeah, so that's so Chinese of us, man. We're thinking about food in that sense. Yeah.
So like observing all these nuances of stereotypes and being able to talk about it in the open in a joking manner, in a humorous manner, so that people can actually accept it.
It's a skill.
Yeah.
A real skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think it came from a lot of pain. Like, you know how they always say clowns are the most sad people, and he has talked before about, this is Trevor Noah, where he thinks he found his humor. And I mean, he came out from the apartheid, but he saw his grandfather in the midst of like a civil clash, sort of crack a confrontational joke at the army guy who was holding like a gun and could have easily shot him down, right? And that turned that tension into like a lighthearted moment.
Yeah, and you get more of this when you read his book, Born a Crime. Yeah, how his mom got shot in the head and all that, and now he uses it as material to as a joke. But at that moment, oh boy, was it traumatic for him, I believe.
Yeah, because back to that story, right? when I first heard it, it was on his stand-up, and I was laughing non-stop about the story.
But when you read the book,
when I read the book, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so serious. This is a tragedy.
But speaking of that book, when I'm not gonna tell you the accounts, but there was, I was just laughing. Even in the book, I was laughing. But I'm gonna tell you the context of why I was laughing. But it was just so funny. And let's just say Trevor didn't sponsor this video, but Trevor Noah, if you watch this, by all means, you want to drop some sponsor to support our channel, we appreciate it. We do need upgrades on our cameras. We do need upgrades on our certain sound systems. We need a better mixer. So some of you giving feedback on the mic sound and all that. This is the max we can go. We are a low production company. We bought a low cheap bulb light, and we just make do with what you got. So thank you all still for tuning in. We are not asking for money to set up. I'm just saying
It was
this
just
is
a side joke.
yeah, and this is just what we've got, man. Yeah. So I guess that's it for now.
Oh,
You want to
I
talk some
thought
more?
you were gonna say something
Oh, okay.
about
You
Trevor Noah, and then you got
I got sidetracked, is it?
yeah.
No, all I'm saying is, Trevor Noah is someone that I admire, lah.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay, let's say something, not for the sake of saying something, but saying, what about you guys? What are some things that you also watch to regulate and battle this purpose fatigue that Yan Ping brought up at the start of this episode? Yeah. Anything else? Last thing to add?
No,
Then I'll say, I guess that's it for now.
this is the Teo-logy podcast.
Till next time. Bye.